Welcome to Bike World and part 2 of our Motorcycle Live special. Here's what we got coming up for you. We find out what makes British World Speedway champion Ty Woffinden tick. We'll be chatting to Scott Redding after his heartbreaking end 2013. Plus, we look at what's new in the world of heated clothing. We'll be bringing you more of the latest cool bikes and gear from the show, plus one of the sexiest bikes I've ever seen. But first, here's a couple of sporty new bikes at the show that we think will entice a lot of people onto two wheels. So the biggest market in the UK for bikes at the moment is the learner legal stroke A2 compliant area, and well, KTM have come out with a few bikes that might get your pulses racing if you are looking at getting on two wheels for the first time. Luke, let's start off with the KTM RC125. Now the Duke 125 has been a massive seller for you guys and it took the learner legal capacity market by storm. The RC125 is the race going version of that and it looks amazing. It's got to be every 17-year-old's wet dream, surely.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, as you said, the 125 Duke has been really successful for KTM. It's introduced a lot of people to the brand, but it's also shown that you can have a 125 four-stroke that it's got a lot of performance, it's not real vibey, and it feels good, it's not like a toy. So we've got the next stage with the RC model, so fully fed. The performance, it's still the same engine as the 125 Duke, but it's a whole new chassis for the bikes to give it it's a sportier chassis, definitely. So we're not just going to we'll put a full fairing on it. This is a new developed bike, but it shares the same engine.
And the great thing is the 125's got 15 brake horsepower, only weighs 135 kilos. And well, here we have the new RC390, obviously again based on the 390 Duke. That produces 44 brake and is only 145 kilos and makes that perfect for A2 licence holders, doesn't it?
Yeah, whereas the 390 had to have a slight restriction to be A2 ready. The extra weight of the full fairing makes this bike perfect for A2. And again, it's physically identical to the 125, but it's again it should hopefully provoke a lot of people to go, wow, smaller bikes. It's a great time for smaller bikes at the moment, not just from us, but it's such a great choice out there. And I think we've got the one to have next year.
Well, you can just see loads of people, and especially youngsters, walking around looking at these bikes and just thinking, surely that's a big sports bike. But the fact that it is, you can get on the 125 just on a CBT, you can get on this with your A2 licence. I think you're going to see a lot of people riding these bikes. And I think, as we say, it can only be good for the industry because it's going to spark that passion in young riders.
Yeah, and that's great. We need new people on bikes, but also what we've had at the show is a lot of older people that like the bike because it's low weight, because the seat height's quite low. It's got a great amount of performance, but it's not, it's not going to bust the bank. So it's got all those attributes. So it's not just, it's going to attract a huge range of riders, the same as the way the Dukes has. So it's important. Plus, being KTM, a huge amount of modifications you can do. We're looking at our power parts here. So many different things you can do to personalise it, trick it up. So we should appeal to a huge range of riders, and hopefully they're going to really enjoy the bike.
So another contender for your money in the A2 licence compliant category, and still a sporty bike, but coming in at over £1,000 less than the KTM RC390 is this. New for 2014, it's the Honda CBR 300R, and we've got Tom from Honda with us. Tom, you've upgraded it from the 250, haven't you?
Yeah, it's got an extra 37cc. It's a perfect step up onto the Supersport ladder. Aggressive styling, which is taken from its bigger brother, the CBR 1000RR. It's got more power, more torque. It's a great little first Supersport bike.
When we talk about it being a first Supersport bike, I think you're right. It does retain many features of the Fireblade. It looks absolutely superb. Power-wise, slightly down the KTM. It's got 30 brake horsepower and weighs 167 kilos, but this thing will do 85 miles to the gallon, won't it?
That's right, yeah. It's extremely good fuel consumption. It's also got ABS as standard, which is a great feature, particularly if you're a new rider coming in. Many A2 licence holders are new riders, so it's not an intimidating package, but it looks good. Looks stylish, and we think it'll do well for us.
Now, I love the look of a retro bike, and this SR400 from Yamaha is no exception. It was launched over 35 years ago, and this bike is still in keeping with the original. For instance, it's got a 399cc air-cooled single-cylinder engine with 23 brake horsepower. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but what it lacks for in speed, it definitely makes up in style, and Luke could definitely do with a bit of this. For the purists out there, and in keeping with the original, it's got a kickstart. Don't let that put you off, it's fuel injected, so it's not too hard to get going. It comes in at 5199, and I think this bike's going to be a real hit in the custom scene because it's a brilliant starting point to create your own one-off.
So there are 4 British World Champions here at Motorcycle Live, and one of them is standing right with me, Ty Woffinden, the World Speedway Champion, mate. Hello, and congratulations for a start.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, it's a really interesting story how you got in Speedway, because originally you loved motocross, didn't you, when you were out in Australia?
Yeah, I used to ride motocross and I was racing, doing all local stuff, and I was doing pretty good, like winning loads of stuff, and it was just like the same track every weekend, and I got a bit bored of it, so went to my dad's mate's house, and he had a track in his garden. We were riding there on the Saturday, and Sunday, we were prepping the bike Saturday afternoon for Sunday, and there was some speedo bikes tucked away in the corner, and I was like, I want to have a go at that. And Dad goes, oh, you have to sell your motocross bike. And I was 12 at the time, and I was just like, yeah, let's go for it.
Because your dad was a Speedway rider as well, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, but I didn't really know that until I got to England in 2006. So.
Well, this is a great story. You pretty much sold everything up in Australia, came back to Scunthorpe. Am I right in saying you were living in a caravan to allow you to kind of enter all the Speedway races that you could?
Yeah, well, they didn't sell the house for the first 3 until 2010, but you know, we saved up, and well, my mum and dad saved up, and we lived in a caravan, a static caravan, for 3 years, and you know, everything was on the tightest budget. You know, we were saving as many pennies as we could, and got my name out there, and I rode for Scunthorpe in the beginners league, and we won everything. And then I went to Rye House, next division up, and we won everything again. And in between that, I was winning British Under-18 championships, British Under-21s, Conference League Riders Championship, Premier League Riders Championship, and the list just goes on and on. And then, yeah, I got the wild card in 2010, had a really tough season. My dad passed away in January 2010, and then I got another wild card this year. So.
Well, this is a big story. I think, you know, for a couple of years, you might have gone off a lot of people's radars, but then this year, as you say, you got a wild card to the first event of the year. You were 501 to win it, and you only went out there and, well, won it, didn't you?
Yeah, I was the underdog, 500 to 1. I'm the only ever wild card to win a world championship and the youngest ever rider. So, you know, things have just been great this season. I've really knuckled down, and, you know, don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of partying and getting on the piss with all the boys, but, you know, over the last 3 years I've started training and diet, and, you know, this year I just did everything. You know, I've said before, it's a 1,000-piece puzzle, and, you know, or 10,000-piece puzzle, and you could have every single piece, and if you got one piece missing, you're not going to win it.
Now, a lot of people, I think, have maybe written you off when you had got the wild card at the start of this year, and I think probably one of the big determining factors for you and a big determination for you is to prove those kind of people wrong, and you couldn't have done it in better style. Yeah, no,
I love proving people wrong. You know, I thrive off it, and you know, I've worn my hat many times this year as I love haters, and you know, it's all part of it. You know, you need the more people say I'm not going to do it, the more it pushes me on to do it. So you know, there was a lot of people at the start of the year, but I'm sure I've won them over now, and you know, it's great to have the support from British fans like I have, and you know, just take that forward.
Well, listen, congratulations on the World Championship. Going to be back next year to defend your title, I take it?
Yeah, can't wait.
Well, good luck with it all, my friend, and enjoy some time off.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Welcome to Geared Up, the section of the show where we check out the latest biking gear, gadgets and innovations from the shelves here at J&S Accessories. So with the festive season just around the corner, we thought we'd showcase a product today we've been using for the last couple of months and that we have grown to love, and you might want to think about adding to your Christmas list. Now, the cold can take a lot of fun out of riding, whether you're going out on a commute or just heading out to see your mates on a Sunday blast. When your fingers feel like ice lollies, well, nothing seems a lot of fun, to be fair. So we thought we'd showcase, as I said, this really cool piece of heated gear to make your cold winter journeys that little bit more bearable. Now, there's a number of heated gear manufacturers out there, Gerbing, Vice, Bike Tech, to name but a few, but we thought we'd focus on this piece of kit because it has something really innovative that can make a big difference to your riding comfort, and as you know, here at Bike World we love innovation. And this is it, the XO2 Storm Chaser jacket. Now, we touched on some XO2 gear before when we were looking at winter gloves, and it was this, the Storm Guard heated glove. And well, let me explain to you how normal heated gear works. First up, you have these very thin wires that normally pass throughout either the glove or jacket in a little kind of looping motion. And the idea being these filaments or wires get heated up and provide you the heat and the warmth to your glove or jacket. Problem being is that very, very thin wires, when heated and then constantly cooled, get very brittle and can snap easily. So I've had it before. I've had a pair of heated gloves, and after literally what I think one winter of using them, next year then I go to get them from the garage where they've been resting all summer and they've been left creased up, the wires have got all brittle and they've snapped, and the gloves, very expensive pair of gloves that I bought, no longer work, and you have to get them all replaced. Do you remember our Furigan piece? We went out to Marseille to see their factory and we talked about D3O, a smart technology. Well, XO2 have their very own, and it's manufactured here in the UK, and it's called Fabrock. So Fabrock is a smart polymer fabric, and what that means is it doesn't need any wires running for it to heat up. In fact, no, it's the actual material itself that heats up when you pass a low current through it. But it gets even smarter than that. You can actually decide in the factory to what temperature you want the material to heat up to, and then it will self-regulate. Probably the biggest advantage it has over the traditional wire system is that because there are no wires going through the material, it's virtually indestructible, because it's the material itself that heats up. So, no broken filaments, no broken wires, and all Fabrock now comes with a lifetime guarantee. So how does this material then work in a jacket, gloves or set of heated gear? Very simply. Say for instance on the new Storm Chaser jacket, which is their latest and most up-to-date one, you have panels of Fabrock on the front, on the back along the arms, around the kidneys, and even in the neck. Yet this is the first jacket that will heat up your entire torso. And it's really simple to use as well. All you do is attach this little permanent cable to your battery and then have this sticking out or hiding underneath the fairing. Then when you get on the bike, you simply plug your jacket into the little socket, and it's really nice and easy as well. So if you're worried about getting off the bike at a petrol station and forgetting you're connected, it will just come apart without you dragging the bike with you. And that's it. Now, when we touched on the Storm Guard gloves before, you might remember these were 140 quid, and they could also run off a little power jack like that from your battery. But the smart thing is with this jacket, you don't need to run a separate set of cables up the back of it and everything else, because look at this. On the arm, you have a very nice discreet little patch, and this cable that is purpose made for the Storm Shield or Storm Guard gloves comes out and attaches like so, saving you the hassle of having to run wires down the back of your jacket. Now, the Storm Chaser jacket will set you back £289.99, which seems quite a lot of money, but this is their all singing, all dancing, top of the range jacket. But the reason we like this so much is it's got dual purpose use. And the reason for that is this, a nifty little 15-volt portable battery power pack that you can actually plug into the jacket. And that means that you don't have to be sitting on your bike to stay warm. You can wear it when you're out shopping with the kids, when you're walking the dog, or even if you fancy going skiing. It becomes a proper portable heated garment. So there you have it, the Storm Chaser XO2 heated jacket, a cool way to stay warm during these winter months. And on top of that, it's British, which can't be a bad thing. Now, we know that times are really hard financially at the moment. While we're on the Ducati stand, we found out about something called the Tri-Options finance deal. And that means you can walk away with an 899 for just £139 a month. And even the bigger brother, the 1199 for £149. And a great little deal is that if you register an 899 before the end of the year, you can get yourself a free set of Termi cans as well.
Vespas are style icons, and the new Primavera has all the charm that you would expect. But it's replacing the LX, isn't it, Phil? And I love the LX.
Well, the LX had been around for a number of years now, and it was time to bring out a new model. And the Primavera is just bringing out an old, famous model from Vespa history, the Primavera from '68, and which was all about young riders with their new freedom from the late '60s onwards. So this new Vespa, the Primavera, is a fantastic new redesign.
So let's talk about the styling then. I've noticed a few elements from the 946 as well.
Absolutely, and we brought the luxury 946 Vespa out this year, and the idea was then to take some of the style cues from that onto this in a more affordable scooter.
You say affordable, how much are we talking?
Well, for the 125 would be 3299 for the 125cc version.
And then you've also got the 50cc as well, haven't
So
you?
we have a 50cc two-stroke version for the UK as well, and similar to the 125, they're all metal construction and hand-painted, so the usual things you get from a Vespa.
While the design looks absolutely great, what about functions? How functional is it?
Well, the LX was limited, particularly for UK riders, where you could only fit a jet-style open-face helmet under the seat. So now the redesign has allowed a full-face helmet to go under the seat, which is unique for what we call a small-frame Vespa.
And what's the reaction been like for the new Primavera?
Oh, it's been fantastic, actually. We've had a lot of interest from old customers, new customers, and we've even sold some today.
What do die-hard Vespa fans make of the modern dashboard?
Well, the dashboard, it still has a sort of very Americana 60s look with the sweep around sort of clam-shape dials, but with the Vespa aficionados still don't like the fact it's an auto. They love to stick to their manual gear change, but you know, it's a lot more easier to ride with a twist and go, and more convenient and a bit quicker as well.
Okay, so here at Motorcycle Live, I have managed to grab the one, the only Mr. Scott Redding. Scott, first up, I know it wasn't exactly the end of the season you wanted, but thank you for entertaining us all this year. You were riding absolutely superb. Talk us through it, mate.
Yeah, I mean, the season was really, really good. It's my best season so far in World Championship. Yeah, we just had a bit of a sour ending, really. I mean, a bit of bad luck with injuries and stuff like that, and I still tried to come back after that and again got put down again. But in the end, our target was to fight for the championship, and that's what we did in the end. So we have to look at the positives of the races we won, the pole positions, the battles we had, and how strong I was even when I was injured, you know. So we're looking forward on the future with a bigger bike and trying to, I don't know how to say, expand on my results.
Now, we were just talking earlier about this actually, but there's got to be some amazing memories from this year. I don't know if anyone will beat Silverstone though, because the atmosphere was incredible, and what a ride from you. I bet you enjoyed that. Yeah,
it was amazing because, you know, like I did the full livery thing with the bike, the leathers, the helmet, and normally when the British riders do that, they seem to get unlucky, you know, Danny Webb, James Toseland, you know. And yeah, when I was going round on that last lap and you hear that roar from the crowd, makes your hair stand up even on a day like today, you know, and you just think, what an amazing day and achievement that is. And the thing I had there was, it wasn't like, oh, we'll have a Brit do well. It was like, we want Scott Redding to win. You know, that was my feeling, you know, when I was going on stage for Riders for Health, and the whole place just stood on their feet and the vibe was absolutely amazing. I was like, it's like Rossi behind me or something, you know what I mean? I was like, whoa.
Well, that's awesome. And obviously next year, as I say, you are going to be on a Gresini Honda. What's it going to be like? You went out on it for a few laps. How did it feel compared to the Moto2 bike, and how do you think you're going to do next year?
No, I mean, the power is a lot better, a lot more. Shouldn't be such a disadvantage for the weight, but the bike was quite small for me. The guys are going to work on that to try and make it a little bit bigger and comfortable for me. The good thing is the team's really motivated. I said I come here as a winner. I want to win. I'm not someone just to make up the last position. So I made that clear, and the guys know what I'm like, and they're really enthusiastic to work with me. So we're going to work hard as we can in the testing to catch up with them other guys and see if we can win some production races.
Well, listen, Scott, good luck for 2014. Thanks for having a chat today, and I love the new hairstyle.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So here on the Ducati stand, we find for me possibly the highlight of the show, and that is the 899 Panigale. I've got Alan from Ducati with me. Now, this bike, obviously based on the 1199, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah, it's 148 horsepower. The dimensions are pretty much the same as the 1199, but what we've done is produced a bike that we call, well, it's called the super mid version. So it's a middle range super bike. That's something that people can use on the track, but it's also more usable for the road. You know, it's much more user-friendly power delivery, but it's still got all the elements of the 1109. So it's got the traction control, the quick shifter, the engine braking control, all the different riding modes. So you've still got all those elements, but you know, like I say, something that's much more usable for the road.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Nowadays with Lita superbikes, so much power and are amazing on track, but you're doing 110 mile an hour first. And you know, you look at the bikes that have been really successful on the road, the 675R, obviously your 848, the Juxa 750, and this comes into that category, replacing the 848. And as you say, the stats are very impressive. 148 brake horsepower, 73 pound-foot of torque, and only 188 kilos. That sounds like a real tool.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tool. I mean, you know, a lot of people always go for the Lita bike, but this is plenty quick enough for most people, and certainly plenty quick for the road. And the reviews we've got so far is that as a track bike, it's fantastic. On the road, it's fantastic. You know, it's the perfect bike that gives all those elements that you want. Something that you can use day to day, but you can still go for, you know, a track day or a Sunday blast.
Now, you mentioned it, obviously, I know that the Spiel has been, when it's come out, it's from the road to the track, isn't it?
That's
now,
right, yes.
This bike is going to feature very heavily on the track this year in the new Ducati Tri-Options Cup, replacing the old 848 Challenge in British Superbikes, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. I mean, you know, the 848, as you know, is no longer produced. But we've still got a lot of guys out there racing the 848 last year and want to continue. So rather than sort of, you know, just say, you know, that's it, boys. Now it's the 899. We've introduced the 899 into the championship. If those guys that still got their 848 can use them as well. So hopefully you'll see the 848s and the 899s lined up together on the grid. It should be a fantastic championship.
It'll be interesting to see how they compare to each other. And
yeah.
And we're talking of price. This is 12,495. Is that right?
12,495. Yeah, that's
and
right.
That's with all the electronic aids and everything.
That's all comes as standard. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Now, if we are talking about racing, you've got another bike over there. We have to go and have a look at, haven't we?
Yes, indeed.
So this is possibly the sexiest bike I've ever actually seen in the flesh. It's the 1199 Superleggera. It's a little bit different from the standard 1199, isn't it, Alan?
It is. I mean, we were just looking a minute ago at the bike and looking at the detail of it, and it is stunning. I mean, there's so much to it. You know, you've got carbon fibre frame, magnesium monocoque chassis, lightweight magnesium wheels, which you can almost pick up with a finger. It's a stunning bike. You know, we've only made 500 of them for those very lucky customers. But yeah, I mean, every element of the bike has been looked at to try and make it as light as possible, and we've used, you know, all those materials such as carbon fibre, magnesium, titanium. There's even titanium springs in the shock. You know, it's a stunning bike.
It's proper trick, proper factory, and as you say, there are only 500 of these made. Now, unfortunately, I hear that little birdie tells me that you've actually sold all 500 now, effectively.
Yeah, we think so. I saw an email the other day, and it looked like we were waiting on one deposit from a customer. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm sure a few people who've got the money, who are here today, will look at the bike and think, oh my God, I wish I'd seen this earlier. So
I feel bad about putting my fingerprints on it. I just want to touch it though. It's so sexy. Now the thing is it's £54,000, isn't it?
it is £54,000, yeah.
So a 20% deposit would be 10,800. And as you say, if someone hasn't given you the deposit yet, could I maybe? I've probably got some. I think I might. I think I've got. Oh, those are receipts. I think I've got a £5 on here somewhere. So I can pay instalments. Would that be all
I
right?
need a bit more than that, mate.
Here I am on the Triumph stand. Now there's been a few updates for the Bonneville-based cruisers. Firstly, the Speedmaster. Devon, talk us through what's new for 2014.
Okay, the Speedmaster this year gets lots of black components for 2014, including the wheels, the sprockets, the handlebars, so really mean and moody features this year to make the bike a little bit darker. Gets 2 new colour schemes, Phantom Black and Matte Graphite with a grey stripe. So just taking it further away from the America and giving it its own unique twist, really.
What about the silencer?
Yeah, it's got new silencers on it this year, so they sound much better. Really let the bike breathe, because we know that sound's important for your cruiser customers.
And you can really put an individual stamp on this bike as well, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. We've got a whole host of accessories available for the cruisers. This particular bike's got a lot of extras on it, including rider footboards and highway pegs, but just gives riders a chance to make the bike their own, which is what we think cruiser riders want.
And what's the price on the road for this?
It's 7,199 on the road, and there's a £150 premium for the twin colour option.
Devon, moving on to the America, what's new for this for 2014?
Okay, this year the America gets a new machined cooling fins on the engine and the barrel block, so engine looks slightly different. It's got new silencers, so it sounds a lot better, really lets that engine breathe. In addition to that, the bike gets some new chrome parts, so it's got a chrome clutch cover, chrome chain guard and a chrome battery cover. And it also comes in this fantastic new colour, which is red and red, which I think is going to go really well this year.
So it's a chrome lover's dream by the sound of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit more laid-back California cruising, this one. Obviously, unlike the Speedmaster, it's got a larger seat, so we envision a few pillions on this as well.
So on the road, how much is the America going to be?
It's the same as the Speedmaster, 7,199 on the road, and then there's a £150 premium if you do like the look of the red and the red.
So here on the Yamaha stand, the first bike that's caught my eye is this. They brought out the MTO9 earlier in the year, MT that stands for Masters of Torque, and it has the new triple engine from Yamaha, but this is the MTO9 Street Rally, and it's a little bit special because it has these incredible supermoto trick parts fitted to it, everything from these handguards to the plastics and the exclusive paint job, and it will cost you an extra £900 in the standard MTO9 at $7,699. But it's not just this bike I wanted to show you, it's its little brother. So this is it, the MTO7, a 689cc parallel twin, producing 75 brake horsepower, 50 pounds-foot of torque, and weighing just 179 kilograms wet. Now those are pretty impressive stats, but what makes this bike really impressive and a bit of a star of the show for me is the fact it will come brand new on the road at £5,200. Yeah, that's right, £5,200 for a 689cc parallel twin. Obviously shares a lot of the styling designs of the MTO9, and I think this is going to sell by the bucket loads. So that's it for this show. If you want to stay in touch with us over the Christmas and New Year period, you can via Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to check our daily updated news section and watch any episodes you might have previously missed of the show in our on-demand section on our brand new website, bikeworld.co.uk.